is I'll be on the top side, patting the head and holding, like, all right, go for it. Let me know when he's out. Is he okay?
AJ Allmendinger here in the Freak Nation, and that profile that I see on camera right now, that is awfully sexy. You actually look like you're about 6'2", the way I have the camera adjusted.
Wow, then that must be a magical camera.
It actually is, because it probably costs as much as a set of tires for you and your car.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Pretty expensive.
Okay. Well, can we sell that and get another set of tires for this weekend?
You put that idea in his head. There
Maybe
you go.
an assistant to your engineer. Listen, the news is out. You're going to be a dad. You're going to be a pop. Let's get that out of the way, man. We'll talk racing, maybe. But do you know what you're in for? Have you had consultation with people who've fathered and babies? Wow, that's weird.
Well, that is weird.
That is weird.
I mean, here's my deal.
Yeah.
This is the easiest way I thought about it when I found out. A little shock to the system, right? A little nervous. I was like, if Kenny can be a dad,
Bang.
anybody can be a dad. So that freed me up a little bit.
Right.
And also, I know my wife Tara is going to be amazing because she's had to take care of a kid for the last 10 years of her life. So should be fine, right?
That's right. You did just celebrate your 10-year anniversary, didn't you? Okay, what I want to know, though, is did you know she was pregnant before you announced you were going full-time Cup, or was that all around the same time?
That was after, for sure. She, I blame fully Chris Rice for this because it was at his member guest event, golf, and there was a lot of drinking I was doing. Tara doesn't drink. So I kind of blame Tara because she's the one that let me in there. So, but no, yeah, this was...
So it happened after the golf tournament?
Yeah.
You went back to the hotel, or was it the bathroom?
It was the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Technically, actually, it was the next day at home, but it was still some residual. So
Wow, we're really getting into the nuts and bolts here.
But yeah, it's kind of funny. So not to get too into details, but my wife is very allergic to a lot of things, food, alcohol. That's why she doesn't drink. Yeah, this is why she's gonna be the healthiest person of all time. Lived to like 127, but she's never been on birth control either. So we've always kind of went on and went off, and so she didn't tell me that we have our fun and it happens. Well, she wakes up the next day and she's like, there were still like 2 to 3 hours left of when
hours
of when it can happen. I don't know what all goes on in that system of ladies.
We don't either.
But
she does.
So she didn't tell me this. So she thought nothing of it. She's like, yeah, first try? Really? No, come on. And she was getting ready for a fitness pageant. And leading up to it, she's like, I think I might, my period might be happening right around that. I was like, that's going to be terrible. She's like, yeah. So it's like, she does the fitness competition. I was like, so did you have your period? She's like, no, but I've been cutting a lot of weight, stuff like that. So I can feel it. It's happening. So it's like another week goes by. I'm like, are you on? I mean, and this is a person that on Saturday at 2 o'clock's like, yep, it's coming on 8 p.m. Sunday. I could feel it. And it's like 8 p.m. Sunday. She's like, yep. And so, yeah, we did that for about 7 weeks.
7? Because you're like, no, this isn't happening.
And finally, I was like, she had another pageant coming up. She's like, I don't want to know until after the pageant. I'm like, I think we know. So I was out golfing, and she's like, I took 3 tests. She's like, the third one was quite positive. She's like, I think I took a breath on that one, and it went boom, positive. So there you go.
It was on the phone when you got the notification from
from her. Yeah, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to finish this round, and we can talk about this after.
Let me get a birdie here.
Yeah.
Hold on.
There are instances like that you always remember. The first time you find out that your wife is pregnant, I know exactly, we know where we were. Yep. But it's those instances, and in all seriousness, it's those instances that I hope that you can just bank. Because I don't remember a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's those instances that are badass.
Yeah, for sure. It's, and it was never like a no. But we never said, oh, for sure we're having kids. Now, my parents have been on me for like, this is what I laugh. My dad made this comment. So we had a baby shower, and my dad made a comment to one of the people there, was like, yeah, I've been waiting this for 25 years. And I was like, so since I was 16, Dad? And he's like, no, not 16. No, I'm not. No, I didn't mean that. But yeah, so my parents were really thrilled with it. So we told him on Christmas. We handed him a present, and it was just a checkered flag. And my dad, yeah, that's nice. And we're like, read the checkered flag. So I thought they were going to cry a lot. And my dad crying is just really weird. My 6'2" dad sometimes. And it's just an awkward, it's just, it's a rough cry to watch.
So he did.
So they held it together pretty good on Christmas. And then they told me as soon as we left, they cried a lot.
And they probably still are. They're like,
Probably,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. Sparkle gave me a suit that I might still be able to wear, but it was for our son. But there's a chance I could fit in that thing.
That's true. He'll get hand-me-downs from you maybe when he's 3 or 4,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly, for sure.
So wrong.
That's what I told him. I was like, I was rubbing Tara's stomach, and I was like, I hope you get your height from her side of the family.
But your dad's 6'2".
My dad's 6'2", but my mom is 5. I still don't know how my dad is 6'2" either, because his parents weren't overly tall, and then my mom's side is like, I'm actually one of the taller ones.
Have you guys
Tara's
already
side.
had that conversation of what he's going to do? Yes racing, no racing?
Yeah, he gets a golf club soon as he comes out. I'm like, here, golf club. Grab that. This is
Not
what
a
we're
steering
doing.
wheel.
Yeah.
And make him walk to the course. Don't
Yeah.
put him in anything with an engine for 16
Now,
years.
the problem is like yesterday we're in the bus and the truck practice starts and we're basically where the buses are right on the back straightaway. And first truck goes by and Tara said he immediately started kicking her stomach. So I'm going to try
That's
to hide
it.
everything.
Game done.
As soon as he's born, hide everything of racing for a couple years, maybe lie to him if I'm still racing. Like,
Right.
I got to do trips every weekend. Don't worry about it. Don't watch TV.
So who of the drivers here in this paddock, who in the Cup garages, who would be the best person to give you advice, or who do you trust the most to give you advice?
Ooh, that's a good question. Chris Buescher and his wife, although they're completely different than us. When Chris and I were teammates, I always enjoyed Chris. So they've told Tara. Tara gets more of the advice than I do. All the moms come by and like, if you need anything. So yeah, if that's the first one that comes to mind is Buescher. There's a few others, but you know how I am. I don't really talk to anybody.
Okay,
That's
who would
true.
you not want to get advice from?
The rest of them, really? I don't want to name names and leave anybody out.
Just
but
give card
yeah,
numbers.
Yeah, just definitely. Well, I'll put it this way: definitely not Larson. Definitely not KB, because their kids are racing 24/7.
Oh,
so we're
got
going to
it.
try to stay away from that.
So no Harvick, no Boyer,
Yeah.
no Bush,
Pretty much
no
any of them.
Larson.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Pretty much any of them.
Yeah.
The big news when Tony Stewart was in here last year was he's not going to cut the umbilical cord if he and Leah Pruitt decide to have babies. Will you cut the umbilical cord?
No.
Why?
No.
Why?
No.
Why?
Because I'm a little squeamish. So I've already told Tara, and she's actually all for this. I'll be on the top side, patting the head and holding. Like, all right, go for it. Let me know when he's out. Is he okay? Is it cleaned up?
Yep.
What? Yeah. Hey, bud. How
What
you
a
doing?
cutie.
Yeah.
Would you faint? Did
I
you say
won't
squeamish?
faint. No, I don't faint, but I might get the.
Got it.
Yeah, and I don't think Tara needs that. Yeah.
Because the way I tell dudes to practice, cook some asparagus in the microwave for a couple of minutes, and then get some scissors and start cutting it. That's what it's like, cutting the umbilical cord.
He's
Because I said no too.
he's gonna throw up right here.
Yeah, I said no too, but I did end up doing it, and it was awesome. I don't know if I had any. Look at him.
He needs some help.
Good. I'm not having asparagus tonight either, so at least rather.
Cook it
For
for
the
7
next 2
minutes.
months.
Yeah.
Because yeah, you're right. You've got the right plan. You'll stay up top.
Yeah.
You still will see some of the residual. You
Yeah.
will. You will.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
You will. You could be outside the room and still see some of the residual.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
We're going here.
Yeah.
We're okay.
We were just there. Do you have any regrets going full-time cup racing?
No, I don't have any regrets. I just, to be quite honest, I wish we were a little bit better this year. You give all these big teams a chance to work on a car that they really never had a chance to work on last year because we were just trying to get the cars to the racetracks, trying to get parts in the shop just to build them. You're probably going to get a little bit behind, but I don't definitely no regrets because I knew there's going to be ups and downs. We've just struggled a little bit more than I think we all expected, and just means we got to work harder. And I shouldn't say hard. We just got to work smarter, work in the right directions. And part of this, and this is what I've always loved about Matt Collig and Chris Rice and all the men and women, but it starts with Matt and Chris. It's not that there's pressure of, hey, we got to run better. Like let's pick it up. They know that we're struggling, and it's about trying to find out what are the areas that we're struggling in. Is it getting the cars built correctly? Is it getting them, just the alignment of the cars, of how you build them? I think now with these cars, because you can't really work on the aero as much, so all the small details make even more importance. Sometimes I do wish, and I tell this to Tara all the time, I wish I could care a little bit less and not have it just like 24/7, like be on my mind of like, how do we get better? More, it's usually how do I get better? That's how I am with myself. I get more frustrated with myself of like, okay, I'm not leading us in the right direction to get us better, and that's me being hard on myself. So I don't regret it. I do wish there was times I could just relax and let it go, but as she points out, I wouldn't be me if that's what I did. So
do you feel like you need to maybe talk with your crew guys more in trying to find that balance, or?
No, I mean, we talk all the time. I'm at the shop, we're in meetings, and it's not lack of communication or lack of effort. It's just and part of it too really is, I mean, you look at these weekends, right? We just got done with a 20-minute practice qualifying, and now we go to the race.
Yeah.
So you don't even get time to, if you come here and try something radical and it doesn't work, you don't have time to take it off. Like, you're just stuck with it. So it's different back in the day when you had practice and Saturday practice and then another practice, and you're like, if that doesn't work, we'll just go back to a baseline. Like, we don't have these opportunities now, and every weekend are super important to try something and get it right or get it wrong and learn from it. But yeah, I'm just always going to be hard on myself and wish I'm pushing us in a better direction.
That's from COVID, isn't it? On shrinking the weekends.
Yeah.
Are other teams complaining? I could only imagine they are, because you're right. You need more time to figure things out. And can that change moving forward next year, the year after?
I think the teams that have it figured out love it, right? And the ones that are struggling wish we had more time. I think there's a happy medium somewhere. We don't need to go back to the old cup schedule. No. That was miserable, where we'd fly in on Thursday early afternoon. You'd practice, qualify, practice, race. Like, you did it every weekend. But part of them shrinking the schedule originally was us not practicing. Was it saved teams money because you didn't have to bring a backup car. You just went to the race. Well, you still have to bring a backup car now, whether it's 15 minutes of practice or 2 hours. So it's not really saving money now. I think there's a happy medium of maybe 50-minute practices, and you can every weekend or things like that. But it's the same for all of us, so you can't complain about it. You try to be better. But definitely when you're behind, it makes it harder because it's hard to try things and learn from it.
Technology in the series, or actually technology in racing in general, is bonkers, especially where they were able to figure out, subjectively or factual, that what happened between Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott. How they could actually go back there and look at all the data in the car. From a driver's perspective that's been doing it for a long time, is that a good thing to be able to make it black and white versus Bill France sitting up here and going, "You're suspended, boy"?
Yeah, it's tough. In a situation like that, as we've all been around, we're all racers, right? Like, something like last week, it happens. Bubba and Kyle at Vegas, like, what they're doing. With the data now, you can't lie about it because you can always, oh yeah, steering broke. I don't know. That's what happened, and that's the excuse we usually go with. But it also, the right hook back up the racetrack, that is super dangerous. So that's something that we need taken away from the sport. And if that's suspending for a race and it makes us all think, okay, like, we can't be doing that. But at the same point, it's, and I know Denny, when he talked about it, and that was the biggest thing at Phoenix, and he got the penalty for it. But something like that, I wonder, okay, what's the fine line of that, or, say Ross and me at Coda, where you see clearly drives through the back of me. or anything like that. Like, what's the line? And the right hook up the racetrack, that's just dangerous, and that's what we got to stop doing.
Is Ross good or bad for the sport?
Ross is great for the sport, and he's super talented. You know, I think that's the thing is with Ross, the action sometimes kind of takes over who he is, and you know, hell, the only thing I have a problem with Ross is when he gets on TV and he does the "aw shucks, I'm sorry again, I didn't mean to do that." I need to learn from that. Like, stop that stuff. Like, you drove through the back of somebody on purpose or not, just be like, yeah, I drove through the back of them. Like,
Own it.
But unfortunately, as we're getting fines now for stuff, you're scared to even say it.
Yep.
But Ross itself for the sport is great. He's so talented, really fast. He brings personality, controversy, and so that's what we like.
When you saw the Gragson, Ross Chastain deal go down, where were you? Were you laughing? Were you going, it's on?
I think I was already walking back to the hauler, and it's like you start walking to the big screen, you're like, and you can hear the crowd start erupting, and it's like, oh, what happened? So I didn't even realize it until I got in the hauler and I was changing, they're replaying it. I was like, oh, damn. I was like, Ross told him, get off me. Like, it's going to happen. So, but I still laugh at that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm too old for that.
It's awesome.
Like,
I mean,
it's great. I'm too old for that stuff. I'm like, it's like, people are like, start getting in there throwing blows. I'm like, that's just dumb. Like, I get what we're all fighting for out there, but you know, this is what we love about the sport.
Watching the Indy 500, is it still tug at you a little bit to get back in an open wheel car?
No.
Right.
No. But I love watching it. It's here is my theory always has been about Indy and being so fortunate to do it one time is that you have to go in there with 100% commitment of I don't care what happens. I mean, we knock on wood, thank goodness the accident, that tire. When that tire left, I thought, oh my God, please I thought it went in the crowd at first. And then, thankfully, like, the best thing that could have happened there was it just hit a car. Lady gets a new car, too. So, you know, it's...
Not too shabby.
But you see those wrecks, and you have to go in there 100% commitment of, like, yeah, this is what's going to... Possibly could happen. And I know what the things that from that may happen, you know, injuries or, you know, knock on wood, thank God nobody, you know, died. But you got to go in there with that mindset. I could go in there with 99% of it. There's still be 1% of like, ooh, like, because you can't, I'm still going to make the moves. You know, that it's part of people who are like, well, you hate super speedway racing, but you're pretty good at it. Well, I hate sucking too. Like, that's one thing. So I'm going to go in there and make the moves if I have to, and if it's got to be 5 wide and through the grass, things like that. But there's that 1% of me is like, ooh, I don't want the bad part of this, and I just know now that that's where I'm at.
Is that the older AJ that we were just alluding to? Where does that come from?
I mean, that's just that's. I think we all get in a point in our lives that you just like, okay, is it worth the risk? Like Townsend Bell used to talk about it, especially when I was working at NBC. He's like, yep, I'm past that now. Like, it's, but you can't go into a race for your race team and your sponsors and your car owner and everybody and say, well, I'm 99% sure I want to do this. There's 1% of me that's and that's. Yeah, I'm man enough to know that there's 1% of me that would say, And you
can watch a race and see the drivers who have that 99%, can't you? From your perspective, going, if he was 100% into it, he would have made or she would have made this move.
You definitely could see it. Yeah. As we watched Indy, I don't know if there was anybody out there with that because they were making some moves. Like Elio's still doing it. I'm like, man, like it's insane, especially the way they run now. You know, if you say now, when I say this, the safety of the cars are way more. But you look at the way the '90s used to race, where it's not. Yeah, you're running wheel to wheel, but you're not packed up. If you got a good car, you're single file and you're making moves, and it's not this 3 wide, 4 wide down the straightaway more often than not. Well, now with this package, that's the way it is. So you definitely see the people that commit and not, but 500, I didn't see a lot of lifting by anybody.
No.
So I would give them all 100% commitment.